Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Hello, hello. Hola. So let us introduce ourselves, right? So first we have Stephen Winter from Ponant Cruises.
Hi, yes, I've been working as the International Sales Director for Ponant for a little bit over 10 years, seeing the company grow to be the world leader in luxury expeditions. And very excited to be here and very excited to let you know that we are both back in the water and cruising, and you and your clients can be as well.
Thanks.
Andreas Nüssel from Silversea.
Very nice to meet you. It's a pleasure having us here. And it's so nice to see it from the other side, to be honest. Yeah, well, I'm working for Silversea with a little break of 3 years since 2012, and I have had the chance to start as Managing Director for Europe on the 4th of March last year. It was a good timing. I'm based in Germany, in Frankfurt, so we closed the borders at least 14 days later, so we closed the office, and I can fully agree with Stephen that we are more than humbled and thankful that we had the chance to get back on the waters, and I trust we will hear a little bit more of that in the next couple of hours, minutes.
And my name is Juan Rodero. I am General Manager from Starclass. Starclass is the main cruise luxury specialist in Spain, so we sell several cruise lines, including Ponant and Silversea, of course. And we are here today. I mean, we want to ask this gentleman about how we have sailed during the pandemic and maybe how we are facing the new future, post-pandemic, let's say. So, Andreas, maybe you can share your point of view.
Yeah. Wow, that's loud. Yeah, I think it was a big break for every one of us. No one expected what will come. In the first moment, it was kind of, okay, let's decide, stop sailing. And everyone thought we will be back in the waters in the next couple of weeks. It will only a short period of time. I think our industry, as you're sitting here, was the most hit industry. And then we faced, of course, super undeserved, I have to say, publicity in the television and media, which of course was not that polite in regards to cruise industry, although the cruise industry was already known as one of the most safest places in the world. So yeah, some weird things happened. However, the stop of the operation in our regards was until last year in August, where we had the chance to train our new protocols in a bubble in Saudi Arabia. So we were able to charter one of our vessels, the Silver Spirit, there for around about six weeks. And finally, we took two deliveries within the pandemic. So we had, thank you. It's hard to take a new vessel and directly lay it up.
Yeah.
It's like you're opening an hotel and say, okay, thanks, we will see you the next year. It was a Silver Moon, and Silver Origin was built for Galapagos. And yeah, both are now in the water since the 80th of June. This was a Silver Moon, and it was really emotional. It was really emotional to see that. But again, there's one verbiage during the pandemic, and everyone used it, inflationary, I would say, is we're getting back stronger than ever. I cannot hear that anymore. So we will emerge stronger. It's even better. There's hard work to do to get back. And to get back stronger is even more hard work to satisfy. And with all the restrictions, and I listened very carefully to the speech of the two gentlemen from Barceló and Relais Chateau, which was extremely impressive to see from a land-based hotel side, the situation. It's quite similar. However, it was hard work in between, operational, and we took our time. We are back in the waters. We have no cases currently. I would not exclude that there will be a case at some point, but of course we can handle that. And I think, Stephen, you sailed earlier than us.
Yes, we actually have the good fortune to have a good base of our market coming from France. We're French owned and operated, although we're fully bilingual. And so what we did in the summer of 2020, from June to September, is we did cruises out of French ports, whether it was Bordeaux, Saint-Malo, Nice, Marseille. So people could drive down, park their car. We gave them a very good rate for a parking garage for the week, and they sailed around the Med. And of course, that was pre-vaccine times. Everyone had to be tested. Whenever anyone left the ship, their temperatures were taken. Whenever they came back, temperatures were taken. But both Andreas and I have ships where that kind of protocol is a bit more manageable. We are small ships. I mean, my ships on the high end are 250 people, and we have even smaller ships than that. So I want all the cruise industry to come back, but I think we were in the position as small ship and luxury ships to come back quicker than others. And we did have one or two cases of COVID, and I think we're not going to get to the point anytime soon where it's going to be zero. But what happened was quite interesting. It was a crew member, and so we took that crew member off the ship, and we announced it very straightforwardly to everyone that there was a case. We're going to test everyone again. If you want to disembark, that's fully fine, and we'll reimburse you, and you can do a cruise later on. And not one person got off the ship. People were extremely happy to be cruising, to have that experience of sharing in a moment with other people. There was still the protocol. You still have to wear a mask when you're walking around. You still have to be tested, as I said, but sitting down for dinner, having a drink, having dancing, live entertainment, it was still possible. Coming back to this summer, we thought, like Andreas, that maybe the world would be a bit more open, but we were restricted to cruising in the Greek Isles, Croatia, around Corsica, very, very nice cruise, and we did a little Iceland. But some of our big summer destinations, Norway, Canada, Alaska, were closed. Australia is still closed. So we're only operating about half of our ships, but we've had time to test our protocols. And I can tell you that I think the stat was that Royal Caribbean had about 50,000 passengers this summer, 4 cases, makes them one of the safest places to be anywhere. No other country can say that they had so few cases. So you're right, Andreas. We had a lot of bad publicity. The cruise business was seen as the bad guy, but in reality, in terms of sustainable travel and sort of safety protocols, we're far and above a lot of the land-based competition. So we're back in the water, and you should be as well.
Maybe one additional comment. I think
Yes.
this is common for us both. As Stephen mentioned, that we have small vessels, which is, of course, a benefit in this situation. You remember, especially in the hotel industry, and both gentlemen talked about the same, how to provide. It's all the excuse about, oh, it's COVID. It's an excuse. Yeah, it is, of course, but when we started, it was, oh, we cannot do any buffets anymore. For a small vessel like we have, is this not really a really big issue? We have enough stuff to say that the people are going to the buffet, say, I would like to have that, or you do it a la carte or whatever. So you're very easy to adapt the situation, and you have space anyway. So I think they're only to get a better view on that one. Small ships, when we're talking about small ships, it's more about less people, but the ships has, in comparison to the passenger space ratio, means the space everyone has for its own is quite huge. Yeah. So it is wondering if you're laying, I had one time the chance to lay beside MSC Magnifica, or Magnifica. I need to ask my Georgia, my sales manager, he's here from Italy. This is a huge ship, and we're standing, laying beside that, and I think the difference was not, it was of course there, but I expected to be a bigger difference. But of course, the space on the vessel we have is quite huge for each and every one of us. Yes. And so this is positive in that situation.
We were also talking about this on the lunch, and a few positive things coming to the business, which maybe before that we were not so open-minded. When I say we, it is our industry. I mean, I talk about flexibility, booking flexibility, facilities, change of, we were a very strict industry in terms of offering facilities to the customer. So now we are, let's say, more open-minded, maybe?
I fully agree. So I think it was one of the most or fastest growing industries in the world, or in the touristic industry, the cruising industry. So if you only think about how many new builds have come in the last years, there was no need to be super polite. We had, the ships were full anyway. So the situation has changed completely during the pandemic, as you can imagine. And of course, we need to talk about confidence. And for us, in our regards, it's the confidence of the customer to book a cruise with the travel agents. And the travel agents needs to have the confidence to book the customer on a trustworthy company where they know they will deal with it, whatever will happen. Honestly speaking, we have no clue what will happen in the next couple of months. So I do not want to predict, but we have not seen the last variant at the moment. So hopefully it will be not that stressful in the next couple of weeks for us all. But flexibility is key in that regard, and I think this is what the cruise industry has all over proven.
Mm-hmm. I think as a small ship company, you're completely flexible in a lot of ways. You can move your ships to parts of the world that can cruise. You can also change your policies. We've been working with Mundo Cruceros since 2009, I believe, and the one frustration we had, at least particularly for the Spanish market, is it's a very late booking market, and they'd always call us and say, can we get this? And sorry, that's been booked for a year now or 6 months. So that's changed. But also our payment terms and conditions. We allow people to put down a deposit but cancel up to 30 days before. Prior to that, it was, I think, 100 days. And either choose between having a refund or taking that money and putting it towards a future cruise. Our 2020 numbers are looking really exciting. We're back up to 2019 level daily or weekly bookings in our call centers. But we had to be a bit more humble and a bit more flexible and regain that confidence through our protocols, through our policies. If somebody, because of their particular country, says they cannot travel, we of course will say, okay, we'll refund you, or we'll hold on to that in-house credit and you can use it towards a future booking. Or if they test positive for COVID within that 30-day period, we'll do the same thing. We'll allow them to hold on to that money or get a refund. That's up to the individual client. Of course, we want them to book. We even gave them extra credit beyond what they already paid to book a future cruise. So that has changed. But the days of ships are sold out, if you want to, you have to pay now, are over for the time being, I'd say.
Mm-hmm. I would like to bring the point about the expedition destination, expedition cruises. Silversea has 3 ships and another one based in Galapagos with the silver origin, only designed and built for that destination. Yeah. And Ponant has the Commandant Charcot, which is the last add to the fleet with the first electric LNG natural gas liquid cruise ship in the world. Mm-hmm. They don't like it to name it icebreaker, but it is an icebreaker. It can break the ice. So my question is, do you think there's enough demand for such a booming expedition offer? I mean, there will be 40 new ships being built as an expedition cruises in the next 4 years. More than 20 will be built in the next 2 years. Mm-hmm. So there will be enough demand to cover this offer.
Stephen, please. You know, I took a look at that one time and I counted the number of cabins in all those 20, 30, 40 ships. And altogether, they still were smaller than a Royal Caribbean ship. And I think there's a demand. People start in cruising usually going to the Caribbean or to the Med and in a bigger ship, and it's with their families, their children, but then they want to see different places, and we can take them there. We don't have to even have a port. You know, we have our Zodiacs, we have the possibility to go to the polar regions, you know, dream destinations, Easter Islands, French Polynesia, and do it in a very comfortable situation. People always say they want to have an adventure, but they definitely like to come back to their comfortable bed and their 5-star meal at the end of the day as well. So it's a combination of both. I was very, very fortunate in September to be asked to go to, for the first time ever in a French ship, the North Pole, on the Commandant Charcot. It is a ship that can go on 0 emissions for several hours at a time. We had polar bears coming up to us. And I wouldn't say it was an icebreaker. It's a PC class ship, which is, apart from 50 Years of Victory, which is a nuclear-powered sub or ship, it's the highest category. But an icebreaker is designed to continually to break ice so that other ships can follow. We're looking for the path of least resistance, using technology, using helicopters, and trying to fire our way up there. But we made it to the North Pole, and I was changed by that. It was something, and this is, you know, we're talking luxury. Luxury is not always something that you wear or that you consume. It's something that you live also. And our kind of ships can take you to these places and change your life and change your perspective on things. So I think that demand, that experiential demand, bodes well for the expedition market.
Nothing to add. So, Stephen, you did it. You said it well. I think the most important point was the life-changing moment. So, for example, it's always about storytelling, right? I was fortunate to was on Galapagos, or in the archipelago, and I had the chance to stand there on the beach, and suddenly a sea lion mother passed by as they have their ways to the sea. But then they saw me, oh, look at that, a big German tree, I will lean on it. And bloody hell, these sea lions are heavy. And in the next moment, I heard a little squeeze. It was the baby. And the baby came to the mommy, and mommy feeded the baby on my leg.
Wow.
So, I have 2 children. I know in principle how it looks like, but I have to say this was my life-changing moment. And we are talking about guests who are very experienced in traveling around the world, seeking for new things. They love to go in the Med, of course, on a classic ship, on an expedition ship, tiny ships, because you can go to different ports, so not the real hotspots, or the real hotspots. They want to go to the real hotspots. And it's really amazing how the people are searching for new experiences, for new life-changing moments. And this is exactly going to what Stephen said and what you asked.
And do you think, my next question was about these experiences, because before that, we were trying always to sell experiences.
Right.
Instead of, the Americans, they call it being more than having. And do you think these experiences has changed for the customer during the pandemic? Now maybe they consider more important to have more privacy, more space per passenger. So those brands you represent are really offering those kind of experiences with a combination between the destination, let's call it hardware, the ship, and service, of course. So do you think this has changed, or it will remain?
No, for the first moment, I would say it has changed. So the people, and if you are caught, and here, especially here in Spain, you were more hit hard than many other countries. Especially like we in Germany, we were not really locked down. We blamed as we would have been, but we never had this lockdown. So I'm from Bavaria, I can say that. But you are getting the sense of what is really essential. And this is what you really would like to have. So your personal demand, and this is different. And when I saw, I always see this explanation about luxury, what it is, it's completely different from each human being to another. And I can only talk to myself because I am always also a human being. When I stepped on the board, and I trust, Stephen, you had the same impression when you went to Commandant Chacrot, I stepped on the Silver Moon in June, and I've never seen so many people only standing at the, what's the name in English, railing.
Yes, the veranda.
At the upper decks, the observation.
The upper decks, and standing there looking outside and crying like babies. They were crying like babies only because they made it to be back on board. And then, of course, if you are able to provide things on the vessel itself, like we are doing, maybe we have time to talk about that. But it's really going back to the basic of the true nature of traveling. And I think this has changed.
I don't think that people want more privacy. I think people want more authenticity.
Yeah.
When I was in a cruise, I took a cruise last summer, 2020, around Corsica, which is a beautiful destination. It's nothing exotic, but I never saw a happier group of people. Just to be on a ship and to be looking out at and going, and every day having a new activity or a new place to visit, I think they were reminded of those simple pleasures that they had forgotten. A good meal, laughter with friends, and that'll always be something that's important. And when you do that on a ship with several hundred people, you do make actually friends. I've on several occasions met people on board a ship that I didn't know beforehand, and have maintained contact with them afterwards. And I think it's a shared adventure. It's a tight-knit community while you're there for a week. Sometimes it's more. I was 2 weeks on the North Pole. And I looked at people who had cruised all over the world, but when they saw a polar bear with the polar bear cub in front of our ship, they also had tears in their eyes. So I think people have always looked for something authentic, but I think it's been even more deeper ingrained with them since they were not allowed to go anywhere for a year and a half.
Let me ask about the destination, because before coming in, we were talking about the few destinations which are actually available to sail. I mean, we are talking about the Mediterranean, North Europe, Caribbean. Now Antarctica just opened last week with Argentina and Chile.
Yeah.
But Asia, South America is mostly closed. So there are only few destinations still available. But can you share with us what is the itinerary planning the cruise line are doing? Because now you cannot plan. And it's like, I mean, in the past we were planning 1 year in advance. Now we have to plan 1 week or 1 month in advance. And then you open the destination, Antarctica, which is a 1 year book in advance. Then now it is open and you need to bring some customer to Antarctica 1 month before.
You have to realize that a lot of people who were canceled last season were transferred onto these cruises. So they're not completely empty, but they have been asking us questions for months. How are we going to get there? What's the situation? And we've been negotiating with governments all over in Argentina and Chile. And you're right. I think it was Friday that they said, okay, it's open. Here's the policy. And we're still getting, this morning I translated from French into English an 8-page document about protocols to cruise in Argentina, in Chile, in the Seychelles. So we're still in getting back to somewhat normalcy, but a lot of things are out of our control. But I think if your clients want to travel, there are some options, and those options will continue to increase. But we've already planned 22, we have good sales, and we have 23. So we're not going to completely throw everything up in the air, but we have to be flexible. And I did a cruise with only Russian clients in Russian waters. We tried to do something in New Zealand for only New Zealanders and that kind of thing. So there are opportunities there, but you're going to always have the Med. You're always going to have the British Isles, the fjords of Norway, Iceland, Greenland in summer. And then as the rest of the world opens up, Asia, Australia, Indian Ocean, Caribbean as well. So the destinations will be there, and gradually we'll be able to go there again.
Yeah, I can only agree. I think that there are two sides. Since we stopped doing business, or we stopped the operation, we never saw any stop of bookings.
Exactly.
So this was great for us, of course. And this is the backbone of our industry. I think this is the loyal customer, and this is an extremely cruise-related topic. And they booked far in advance. If you only think that we have the World Cruise 24 is open since end of July, it's nearly sold out. We're talking about a World Cruise in 24. Wow. The same happened for World Cruise 23 a couple of months ago before the launch. So it was 6 months in between these two launches. Completely sold out. So there is a demand. We are planning, of course, the itineraries regularly from Q2 onwards, and we will react flexible, as it's the key word, on what is the current situation. But I agree there are some more uncertainties, especially with Australia, Asia, what will happen there. But again, to your point, we have ships, we can move them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Well, in conclusion, we have an excellent product waiting for the customer to come, the travel restriction to be lifted. And once we are able to sail to more destinations, the demand will even be higher than what it is, because now we are selling in Spain. We are even selling sooner than ever. We have been always a very late booking market, but for the first time, we are having bookings for 23, 20, even 24. Wow. So good news for everybody. I mean, I think we are in the right pace. And so we have a couple of minutes left. I don't know if anyone from the public may do any question about cruising. We are here talking about luxury cruising. We do most of the luxury cruises in the market. And these gentlemen, those rounds are the first ones starting the business again last summer for Ponant. And we had a very nice week this July in the Greek island on the Silver Moon, the last ship, and the new Silver Dawn is also coming in November.
November.
The launch. And we went to the Commandant Charcot last week, which was a real great experience.
We had Mr. Alain Ducasse making dinner for us. That was a nice experience, I thought. Three-star Michelin chef. Yeah, I have to thank the people also at Emily Cruceros who have stuck with us and maintained that interest in cruising throughout the whole period. So we're open for questions if you have any.
There's one.
Hello. What is the average cost of these super marvelous cruises to North Pole?
North Pole.
Or the other ones?
Well, you know, we have cruises that range from 3,000 per person for a week in the Med to 25,000 for the North Pole. I mean, we have something for almost every budget. We have shorter cruises, closer to home cruises. The Antarctic starts at around, I'd say, 10. I mean, Andreas maybe can say what his are, but I always compare it to coming to a luxury hotel. Go to the beautiful Four Seasons Madrid for a week, eat in their restaurant every day, drink every day. You'll spend more than you would on a cruise, that's for sure. So you have to think of it as a full value. You have accommodations, transportations, food and beverage, entertainment, and lectures, daily activities, almost all included. For our expedition cruising, all the Zodiacs that you do is included as well. We even give you a parka that you get to keep and take home with you. So it is luxurious, but I think it's if you break it down a per day rate and see what's included, you see it's a good value. Andreas, you want to add anything to that?
As usual, you explained it super nicely. I think only a quick one, as we are overdone already. There's 000.
That's right.
So yes, it costs what it costs, but it's worth the cost. And you always have to compare. And there's also one niche we are also, both of us, are looking into it. If you go on a bigger cruise line, or you have guests that go in this in-ship concepts where you have the luxury suites, they pay a fortune at some point. So in our regards, we are all-inclusive. Yes, we are. We have everything included. Shore excursions, we also pick the guests from the door at home up, bring them to the airport, and bring them back safely, coming back to the point of safe environment. So this is all included, and then it goes in a relation which is absolutely understandable. So in regards to the pricing, we are nearly in the same range. Our suites are starting currently from 36 square meters. So
I would add just that the earlier you book earlier you book, the better the prices. We don't do last minute discounts, we do early discounts. So, and that's been tough to get the Spanish to understand that if you book 6 months or 8 months at a time, you're going to get a better price than if you book a month ahead of time.
You have to do it like the aviation industry is doing.
Yeah, exactly.
The fuller the plane is, the most costly is the last seat.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank
you very much and enjoy your day.
Thank you.